Welcome back. Today's video is going to showcase some duels on the Legion beta. I will be doing commentary over the duels so that you have an understanding of what I'm trying to do in each match. First up is a rogue. I trinket his opener and quickly vanish and open him. I open with Cheap Shot, then Gormaw's Bite, and Nightblade him. I then Cheap Shot, Shadow Strike, and use Sprint. So I'm gonna vanish his blind. Through artifact talents, 3 seconds after activating Sprint, you will vanish, entering stealth even if crowd controlled. I then sap the rogue, waiting out the stun DRs so that I can open with a full stun lock combo. I make sure to apply Symbols of Death before I open, then open with Cheap Shot, DFA, but he trinkets and opens me with a Cheap Shot. As soon as I'm out of stun, I Shadow Dance, DR Cheap Shot, Shadow Strike, and put a Nightblade up on him, while using Cloak of Shadows and Evasion to avoid his incoming damage. Here I see him use Shadow Dance, so I vanish before he can connect, and Cold Blood, Shadow Strike him. Our next duel is against the same rogue who's been getting really lucky getting me out. This time I wait out his opener and vanish, opening with a Cheap Shot. He trinkets, I blind him. I Cloak of Shadows his Nightblade and bandage. For some reason neither of us dropped combat through the blind, but I managed to stealth and sap him before he stealths, which is perfect for me because I control him while stun DR fades. I open him with a Cheap Shot and put up Nightblade. I then Gormaw's Bite, Shadow Dance, Cheap Shot him again, and DFA. Once he comes out of stuns, he uses Cloak of Shadows to clear my Nightblade and vanishes. I'm hopelessly hopping around, hoping to drop combat, but it just never seems to happen, and he opens me with a full Cheap Shot. Throughout the course of the duel, my PvP talent's deactivated, so I can't trinket his opener. I vanish and open on him with some Shadow Strikes to generate combo points and wait for stun DR to fade. Then I Shadow Step Kidney Shot, Shadow Dance, and spam as much damage as possible into him and finish the duel. Here's halfway through a third duel with this rogue, where I turn the pressure around on him really hard, and he actually just flops to a humongous DFA. Oof, that had to hurt. Next up is a fantastic duel versus a Ret Paladin. I open with the basic Cheap Shot, Gormaw's Bite, Nightblade, Shadow Dance, Cheap Shot. I then Shadow Strike and DFA, hoping to immune his Hodge once he comes out of stun. I let Nightblade take for a bit and chase after him with backstabs and auto attacks, then blind him once his stun DR is getting close to finishing. Once stun DRs are up, I Symbols of Death and open with a Cheap Shot, Eviscerate. He trinkets and Hodges me and pops wings. I respond by trinketing the Hodge, Shadow Dancing, and DR Cheap Shotting him, continuing to deal damage. This makes Mr. Ret Paladin very uncomfortable, causing him to bubble and try and heal up. I just vanish out and hang out next to him, hoping to land a sap on him once bubble fades and he's out of combat. Unfortunately for me, he's still on sap DR, so I just patiently hang out next to him while I wait for stun DRs to fade. Once they do, I Cold Blood, Symbols of Death, open with Cheap Shot, Shadow Strike. I then silence him and put up a Nightblade, and continue to kite him around the pillar. He uses his Sprint to catch up to me and keep me in combat. I just continue to kite and line him until he's close to being off stun DRs, at which point I vanish and open him again. Ideally, I'm trying to keep my opponent locked down with stuns and only engage them when I can do so. If I'm not able to keep them stunned, then I'm usually cutting away or avoiding them with stealth. Here I'm able to utilize the pillar to line of sight the Ret Paladin whenever I'm not able to keep him locked down. Outside of that, I'm trying to mitigate his healing with sap while I'm in stealth, and only engage when he's stunned. It's actually one of the things that make rogues excel in 1v1, their ability to avoid damage or control incoming damage. So again, I open the same way, getting a 5-point Nightblade up and keeping my opponent stunned for as long as possible. At the end of the stun chain, I will DFA, which against opponents who aren't paying attention or who are frustrated and just hammering their stun, will often use one of their CDs into your DFA, trying to lock you down. This Paladin is pretty much done, so the commentary stops here. He tried his best, but he was no match for the mighty rogue. Here's a tough one against a very skilled Ret Paladin.
I don't remember my keybinds for this shit. Good. Bubble.
Good duel.
Good another.
Good duel, Zach.
Good duel.
Good duel.
Hey, good duel.
It can be difficult collecting good footage for a duel video, because rogues are an extremely solid 1v1 class, especially now that we can have a 30-second cooldown on our vanish through a talent, a PvP talent rather. It makes for pretty overpowered 1v1 gameplay, I'll be completely honest. Our ability to always get away into stealth, and a trick that you can do with bandages and vanish, which I'll talk about in another video, make rogues extremely durable in 1v1s. As well, they're extremely difficult to kite. They have that teleport Shadow Strike, which is honestly kind of broken. you have perfect uptime on anybody. You're able to just teleport over to them and stick on them like glue. It's ridiculous. All in all, playing Rogue in the beta is a lot of fun. I almost always enjoy myself when I sit down and do a queue session or have some duels. The pace of the game seems to be pretty good, and a lot of the things that are obviously broken are slowly getting worked at. So I'm looking forward to seeing the final product when Legion goes live. Things like this one-shot Mortal Strike have been fixed in the most recent build. Recently Rogues were able to one-shot with Eviscerate, that has been fixed too. Frost Mages currently can do a one-shot with Frostbolt and Shatter. Hopefully that'll get changed as well. Like I said guys, I've been doing a lot of 3s on the beta, and outside of the things that are obviously broken, the game feels pretty fun to play. It seems a lot less about trading cooldowns and more about just landing CC and dealing good damage, which I've always enjoyed that kind of gameplay, where having good uptime and doing really good damage in combination with well-timed crowd control is basically my preferred way to play. Less about trading Iron Barks or Shamanistic Rage and stuff like that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching everybody. If you're looking forward to more content on the channel, I suggest you hit that subscribe button. And if you're one of my longtime viewers, thank you very much for your continued support. The best thing you guys can do to help out the channel is to hit that like button after watching the video. And of course, tune in next time. Speaking of next time, until then, stay sneaky, my friends.